but you were so uncomfortable, you couldn't even get down the controls because before we even got on the horse, all you're thinking is, oh my God, I'm about to do this horse, I'm about to do this horse. You was already dwelling in something that was becoming so beautiful.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you guys about Oluwajohn and Katina. I know I've mispronounced his name, but you know what? Listen, you're gonna have to allow me. And we're talking about their connection and dealing specifically with the incident where she spoke about her uncomfortability in how he pushed. And we're gonna break down some of the key parts of the conversation because there were some really interesting things that were brought up in those 2 minutes of conversation that they had, and some really important gems that I think we can unearth and help people in their relationships towards a more healthier style. So if you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returning, if you know what it is, baby, you got the minerals, baby. Let's get into the video. We're talking specifically about the lovely couple Ola and Katina, and I want to go back because I want to start a little bit earlier where she let us know quite early on how she felt about the process. Now look, I want to say this. The reason why I'm talking about this is because what I notice is that sometimes in relationships we try to help the other person, but we become a coach. Now you've heard me say this before. There are points in time in a relationship where we take on different roles within our relationship. We become a coach, we become a trainer, we become a teacher, we become a counselor, we become a chef, a banker, whatever. You take on a role for a temporary period of time. The difficulty I'm seeing in this relationship right now, especially with Ola, is how he goes about dealing with Katina. He's becoming a coach and he's becoming a trainer. And when you're in a relationship, you cannot become a trainer and a coach. Right? For a lot of people, not everyone, but for most people, you cannot. It will get grinding really, really quickly. I didn't marry a coach or a trainer. I married somebody who I wanted to share my flaws, my wins, my losses with. I wanted to be able to share my whole vulnerability with. When you're a trainer and a coach, not necessarily are you going to be that vulnerable unless you're training me. You're not going to be that vulnerable unless you're coaching me on the things that we're talking about, but not necessarily things that are interpersonal or relationship aspects. So when your partner goes into the role of coach or trainer, it becomes very condescending very, very quickly, and it becomes about missing the empathy aspects of your relationship to focus on how best can we be solution orientated. And relationships are not solely solution orientated. They require emotion, which is thoughts, behaviors, and feelings. They are all wrapped up in emotion. So let's just go back and see what we're talking about here, and let's kind of break it down. Listen to this part of conversation.
If he start running, he might start running.
I am nervous about riding a horse just because I've never ridden one before, and I already don't like animals. Some people.
I want to pause it there. What did you hear? Now, most women will pick up what she just said. This is more for the men. So if you ladies, if you have a man and he's emotionally unintelligent, unfortunately, or he's not as intelligent or as aware of the emotions, send him this video because we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. What you just heard, what did you hear her just say? She is nervous, okay, and she's not a fan of animals. But what do you see her doing? She's got on the horse, which means already she started conquering some of her fears and her anxiety towards animals and her nervousness towards getting on a horse. So she's already trying to override her fears. She's rolling with you. She's with you. But she's expressed her nervousness. This is where you pick up body language. This is where you pick up clues, and this is where you pick up cues, and this is where you pick up whatever the person said. Now, we don't see 100% her saying anything like the same exact way, saying I'm nervous, but she does say something a little bit later on. We're going to watch the clip in a second or two. You need to be conscious and aware and stop moving without checking for your partner first. Empathy is about understanding the emotions, the feelings of the party other than you. It's about putting yourself in their shoes and feeling what they're feeling, right? And to do so is to slow down, stop thinking about solutions and start listening. When you hear her when she says she's nervous, what should be your reaction after that? Your reaction should be one of encouragement, one of setting up a safe space, and one of vulnerability and not embarrassing her, because she's let you know she's nervous about what she's about to do. Therefore, your role now is say, hey, babe, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Don't worry about that. I got you. We'll make it through. It's cool. You offer words of encouragement so that she can get through that, so that she sees that you're supporting her emotionally. Do you know what I've heard in the last few weeks? The same word for the last few weeks. He's good, but I don't feel emotionally safe. There are many men out there who are physically safe. They make you feel physically safe, but they don't make you feel emotionally safe. And men, let me tell you something. Emotional safety works both ways. Both men and women need it. You need it because when you start telling your missus certain things, you want her to keep you emotionally safe. You want her to be vulnerable, and you want her to be open to what you're saying. You must also be emotionally safe by being emotionally receptive to what you're seeing in front of you and not ignoring it. Let's watch a little bit more of the clip.
People aren't animal people. Sorry, Peter. How do I slow him down?
Pull him back. Also, Sales, remember that champagne will go at your speed.
Now, you can see that on the horses. It's nice and gentle. They're going their pace. You know, she's just behind him. She's still, you know, she's conquering her fears. She's on the road to trying this new activity out. They both are. And she is doing her level best. She hasn't quit. She hasn't thrown a tantrum. She's not doing anything. She's conquering her fears, right? Let's watch a bit more.
I don't feel comfortable. Slow.
I know. Slow. Hey.
Go slow, babe.
This is the slowest this horse goes.
How do you stop it?
Oh, listen to what she's saying.
I can't.
Pause. He did it just then. He destroyed all vulnerability. Just then. I don't know if you heard it. I'll play the clip again for you. If you just heard what he said, he destroyed all vulnerability. Right? I want to put this here. When you go into coaching mode, when you go into training mode, when you go into those kind of mindsets, you tend to try and be almost authoritative with the commands, declarative sentences that you use, because you are in a position of control. In this instance, when they were on the horses, he's not in a position of control. He's not her authority. They are on horses doing an activity. That's her partner. She's his partner. Therefore, the tone, because when we talk about how we communicate, tone is one of the biggest ways people realize what you're actually intending to say. Aside the word, the intonation on your word or on your words are so important because they tell its own story. Right? So listen again to what he says, the tone of what he says, not necessarily what he just says, but listen to the tone of what he says. Right? Okay.
This is the slowest this horse goes.
How do you stop it?
Oh, listen to what she's saying.
I can't.
Pull.
Okay.
Come on.
What did you just say? Pull. What did I just tell you? Listen to what she's saying to you. That is not creating a safe space when someone's nervous about something. This is the first time they've ever done it. He's moving like an African dad who's, when you ask him, Dad, I don't know this times table. I don't know this algebra. I'm not sure how to work it out. Listen to what I'm saying. Before you know it, you're hit across the face or hit on the arm, or you're being punished for not knowing the answer, and yet you're trying to be vulnerable by asking for help. Do you know what happens when you do that? People shut down. It is a no-go to use such a tone in such a context when the person that has already alluded to that they're uncomfortable, but they're persevering. You took the wrong tone because you went into coach mode. Because we already know that Allah wants to mold the woman to his particular vision. And this is where Katina's going to have to be strong. This is where Katina's going to have to put her foot down. This is where his words come true. If you don't stand up, I'm going to run over you. He shouldn't do that anyway. He should have self-discipline. But she's going to have to put her boundaries. Right? And let him know I'm not about it. Right? Let's fast forward a little bit now to when they're sitting down. Okay? Let's listen to this.
I've been stepping out of my comfort zone, and I just need him to just take down his energy for me and just go slower.
There you go. So what did she say? I need him to take his energy down and go a bit slower. He's pulling me out of my comfort zone. He's doing well. He's got the right idea in terms of trying to pull her out and trying to pull her out of her comfort zone. But when you do, you've got to do it in a way that you don't overstep the mark. Your intonation is very important. Unless you discussed it that previously that she likes that type of intonation, being told what to do, it's going to be the wrong choice most times to use such a tone, because you're scolding her with your tone. Nobody likes that. Nobody that wants to be scolded by their partner.
Just relax. The horse knows it's been trained. You're not the first person to ride it. You're not going to be the last. It's okay.
There you go again with that tone. And again, that choice of language. Don't worry, you're not the first person to ride this horse, and you won't be the last. It won't throw you off. He's going back to say, if it was going to throw you off, it would have thrown you off already. These are not encouraging words. This sounds like your football coach who is raising young men to play football, rather than actually dealing with your partner as a partner. And it may well be that he just hasn't had the opportunity to be able to discuss or even speak like this in a manner which is loving, caring, nurturing, and encouraging in a relationship, because maybe previously all he's ever dated, as he said himself, is girls that he left alone. Therefore, this tone he will get away with it because he doesn't have to spend an insurmountable amount of time with that person. But this is your wife. She's not a horse, and she's not your slave to call around, right? Let's play a little bit more.
Okay.
If the horse wanted to throw you, it would have threw you all the way back there.
Don't say that.
I'm saying, have confidence in yourself.
Pause. So what is he reacting to? Because he's also reacting to something, right? He wants a woman that's adventurous, as he says later on. He's making it very clear, I want someone who's going to be confident. That's why he harped on it just there and there. Have confidence in yourself. What he's sensing at the time is a weakness in her chain of armor, which is absolutely true. He's not lying. He's sensing her lack of confidence, or at least lack of confidence in comparison to him. He's sensing it. And to be honest, he's not wrong, because I've sensed it. I can see that it's not even confidence, it's a self-esteem. See, self-esteem is how we value ourselves. What do we value ourselves? What's our internal voice telling ourselves, and what's it saying about me? And a lot of times what you'll find is with people is the internal voice, or the child voice that's in them, is actually undermining their value. It's actually telling them you're not good. It's actually telling them, are you sure that you're worth this? Are you da-da-da? It will question the premise of value. If you've come from a negative experience or negative background or negative parental environment, it will speak for you and say you don't deserve this moment and you don't deserve this time. And therefore, though Katina looks beautiful, though she speaks quite well, though she might seem bubbly, her actual self-esteem, which you won't see, which is her internal voice of how she values herself, will come through. Players know. Ola knows this because he's played the game with many women before. He knows what he's saying. He's not lying. He's absolutely on point. What he's sensing is a little bit of a lack of confidence from Katina. And what he's saying is, I will run over you if you continue this way. Yeah, sad to know.
She was taking a little bit of the positive energy out of me, but I don't want to lose my life experience because somebody else feels like they don't want to give it a full chance.
Now, he said, I don't want to lose my experience just because someone else didn't want to give it a full chance. Come on, sir. Right? And that's the kind of stuff we're talking about, where it seems insensitive to understanding his partner's plight. There's a lack of empathy there. And I said this on the live. I don't get excited when men feel empathy for other men when they get treated badly by women. Because a lot of time it's rooted in the fact that we have a sense of privilege, and we can't ever foresee women ever disrespecting us the same way we do them, right? We have the same complex that white men have to the rest of the world, right? They cannot foresee any other group outstaging them, outplaying them, outthinking them, out-strategizing them. They cannot think about that. There's a level of privilege as being as a white male. There's a level of privilege being a male in general. And what we feel is, at a point in time, is a woman can't best us. Why am I saying all of this in regards to what he's saying? Because he's saying in a sense of, I'm not going to let no one stop me from getting my gloss, for my shine. But no one's stopping you, sir. No one's stopping you. All right.
I am an adventurous person, and I only could be with a person who's adventurous. I didn't get into a marriage just to smile and say, we're married and we have kids. I won't stop living my life because my wife isn't comfortable.
That's the issue I'm talking about. I won't stop living my life because my wife's uncomfortable. You won't stop at all. And that's your biggest problem. Because you're thinking about you. It's not a selfless act. It's a selfish one. And part of me thinks if he gets the cookies, Katina is done. If he gets the cookies, it feels like, Katina, you are done. That's if he hasn't already got the cookies already. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm watching him and I'm going, okay, I'm paying attention to you. I'm paying attention to you and what you're about. Yeah, I'm paying attention to you. All right.
Sometimes you just have to be more patient with me.
You gotta have some faith.
Notice what happened there? She said, obviously, you know, I just need you to be a bit more patient with me. You gotta have a little more faith. Quickly counteracted it. Because he doesn't believe that she needs more patience. He believes that she needs to step out. He's not listening. He's assuming that he understands where she's coming from and knows what she's about, and therefore he's trying to speak on her behalf. And he's interjecting, you know what, you need to be more, she's saying more patient. He's saying, listen, have a little more faith. Because he's already started thinking that she wants, that she's kind of chicken out of the whole situation. That's not the truth. That's not true at all. Let's bring it up to here, sorry. We're going to bring up the clip there. I'm trying to find out which way it is. Yeah, okay. So let's get to here because we don't want any trouble here. Okay. I want you to pay attention when you listen to this. Man's out here looking like Smokey, Chris.
But that's also my nerves.
Right.
When people are nervous, they express themselves differently.
Right. But you were so uncomfortable, you couldn't even get down the controls because before we even got on.
Now, this is a true point. Fear will paralyze you. Fear will paralyze you. So he's absolutely right. If he saw it from everyone, he's going to see that her fear would have taken over and she wouldn't be able to learn the controls. But still, the way you spoke to her on the horse, in regards to the fact that you could see that she was not sure exactly what she was doing in terms of the achieved goal. Why didn't you encourage, but instead you went into football coach mode? And that's what I felt from Ola. He's in football coach mode. And unfortunately, your wife is not a football coach project. Your wife is your wife. Separate the two. Right?
On the horse, all you're thinking is, oh my God, I'm about to do this horse, I'm about to do this horse. You was already dwelling in something that was becoming so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I seen the build up. That's why when you got on.
Now, he said he's seen the build up, and he just want to ruin what they've built up and etc. And I hear that as well. He's got a exact point there. You don't want fear to ruin what you guys are able to achieve and what you're trying to do. Now, he goes on to say about he saw from the beginning her energy. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, it happens. We're actually right. We do read things from the very beginning. But it's given me the gym vibes all over again. Almost like you're testing her once more. Now, it may have been only two tests or one test that he ever did on the show, but it feels a little bit like he's testing her once more again through this situation. Let's watch a bit more.
On it, you're like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, before we even got on the horse, you was already telling yourself you didn't like it.
Yeah, I want you to push me, but I want you to know in some situations, if I'm...
I love that. Okay, so now she's going to explain her point, saying obviously that when you want to push me, I don't mind you pushing me, but there's got to be a limit. I mean, you want to push me, no problems at all, but there's going to be a limit. And the limit is I want you to understand me, and I want you to know that when I say I'm uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable. Let's listen a bit more.
Telling you I'm really uncomfortable, then... I mean... I want you to...
Pause. Look what he just did. She said, I want you to let you know, like, when I say I'm uncomfortable, I want you to understand, I want you to find out, I want you to basically just be able to be aware, basically, yeah? Know when things are worth pushing, when they're not worth pushing, okay? When I'm asking for it, when I really mean it. And he immediately went, hey, because he's ready to counter. He was ready to counter. And therefore, probably at this point, he's actually not really listening. He's got his own point of view. Honestly, it looks like Chris Tucker on Friday.
Know when to do it and when to not. Because my nerves get really bad, and I don't know. You'll have to learn, like, okay, like she really doesn't want to do this.
I would never put you through any.
I wanna pause there because there's another part which is coming through, and I wanted to just pause on this part of what he actually says because I think it's really important to discuss this. But like I said, she already expressed that she was uncomfortable. This would have been a great time for him again to assure her of that in that moment while I was on the horses. Hey, I'm with you. Don't worry about it. And then being encouraging. And unfortunately, he struggled to that. I want to play his last clip. Okay, like I said, this is really important. It's really important. So let's just have a look. Okay.
I think you can't get through.
Oh, I went to. Hold on.
And if I'm
All right, pause there. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what he's going to say. He's going to say something really, really important here. Okay, and when he says it, just pick up, observe it, listen to it, feel it, deep it. Okay. All right, let's get into it.
telling you I'm really uncomfortable, then
I mean,
I want you to know when to do it and when to not. Because my nerves get really bad, and I don't know, you'll have to learn, like, okay, like, she really doesn't want to do this.
I wouldn't.
Okay, he's about to start the thing. He just says, I will never. And I want you to understand this. This I will never is not a never. Okay, until he sorts himself out. But the I will never is about to come out because he's about to say something like he wants to be endearing, right? But it's not. Actually, it's not a great line to use because if you're saying, listen, I will never push you beyond your point, how do you know what her point is? You're assuming you know what her point is. Let's have a look.
Never put you through anything I think you can't get through.
I will never push you to be a part of something that I know you couldn't get through. How would you know that she can't get through that or not? You've only known her for a few days. So how would you know how to determine that? How would you know how to determine your level? You know, water finds water, water finds water. How would you have known how much pressure to apply? You don't know her. It's been 4 days. So when you're saying this, it's a very generic term that you're using at that moment. And really, it's not about her. It's about any person who would come into your life the same way, will be treated the exact same way. Like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded.